Hello, my name is Henson Moore. I'm the Deputy Secretary of Energy. I've come from Washington to be with you here at Rocky Flats under somewhat unfortunate circumstances. A federal criminal search warrant was executed at Rocky Flats on June 6, 1989, by agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Environmental Protection Agency. By signing the warrant, a federal magistrate in Denver has indicated his belief that there is probable cause to believe that violations of federal laws regulating hazardous waste and discharge of pollutants has taken place. The warrant authorizes, and Admiral Watkins, the Secretary of Energy, has consented to a search of various buildings within Rocky Flats, as well as a sampling of various locations throughout the plant. The Department of Energy is cooperating with this investigation, and all employees at Rocky Flats are directed not to interfere in any way with the federal agents in the course of their search of the plant. I've been informed by the investigating agencies that there's no reason to believe that there are any potential environmental violations appear to pose any immediate threat to the health and safety of anyone in Rocky Flats or in the Denver area. Nonetheless, you may observe search personnel equipped with protective gear in order to comply with their own internal safety regulations. Although non-interference with the agents in the course of their execution of the warrant is mandatory, individuals may feel free to choose whether or not they wish to answer questions posed by the agents beyond those necessary to give them safe and expeditious access to the areas to be searched. All agents involved in conducting the search have appropriate security clearances to obtain classified information. No Department of Energy or Rockwell employees will be disciplined for divulging otherwise restricted information to the agents, whether by turning over documents to them or speaking with the agents. I've been informed that the execution of the warrant may last for up to 10 days. Your cooperation with the federal agents and their technical assistance will help to ensure that the execution of the warrant is safe and expeditious as possible. Now, you're all quite aware for some time that there have been concerns raised about the storage and discharge of waste expressed by the state of Colorado over past operational practices at DOE's plants at Rocky Flats. And there have been expressions made over concerns of possible adverse effect that these actions may have on the environment in and around the Denver area. As you know, the Department of Energy and Rockwell both have been actively attempting to address a number of these concerns for some time and is currently working with the state to correct known deficiencies. We've just recently learned that the Department of Justice had a special investigation underway for almost a year on possible violations of several environmental statutes. Their investigation stems from allegations made to the Department of Justice, involving charges that hazardous and/or mixed waste and pollutants have been illegally stored, treated, disposed, and/or discharged at the Rocky Flats plant. I want to stress that these are allegations. In order to determine the validity of these allegations, the FBI, in cooperation with the Department of Energy, has outlined a search warrant for the purpose of obtaining documents and other necessary evidence. The DOE is cooperating fully with the execution of this search warrant and the FBI's investigation, and I expect each of you will want to put these allegations to rest as soon as possible. Admiral Watkins has stated repeatedly that it's his intention to operate all Department of Energy facilities fully in compliance with all pertinent statutes dealing with safety and health in the environment, to be sure that the safety of all employees and the public is satisfactorily served. The object of all involved agencies in this investigation is to resolve as quickly as possible the current allegations. This has got to be a trying period for each one of you. We must ensure that the facility is operated safely. Your duties remain the same. You're to do everything you know how to do to continue to see that this plant operates and operates safely and efficiently. There has been a temporary reassignment of the area officer, Rush Enlow, to work with the investigating team. We've brought in Ed Goldberg, the Deputy Manager at Hanford Operations, to take the job as acting area office manager until further notice. Facility personnel and public safety is paramount to reestablishing the credibility of the Department of Energy and Rockwell at Rocky Flats. We're assigning additional line people from Washington and from around the country for the Department of Energy to support Ed Goldberg, who is the acting area manager now, in determining if there's anything we need to do differently or do better here at Rocky Flats. Admiral Watkins has assigned operational line responsibility of Rocky Flats to the Undersecretary in Washington, John Tuck, until further notice. Mr. Goldberg will be reporting to Mr. Tuck for operations, but will continue to receive administrative and logistical support through the Albuquerque Operations Office. The department you saw and the Rockwell you saw last night on your television sets is under severe criticism, and unfortunately, you're taking the brunt of that attack as an employee of Rockwell. Admiral Watkins has continued to state that we're not going to steer the DOE ship by looking at its wake. In order to progress and turn the situation around, we're going to have to work diligently with the Department of Justice, the State of Colorado, and the Environmental Protection Agency to ensure that we've not, and we have not, and we are not presently, and will not in the future, violate any environmental laws. I know you feel that way, and you fully agree. I know you'll support your leadership here at Rockwell, and also the Department of Energy personnel here, in seeing to it this takes place. All of you who work here are professionals, or you wouldn't be here. And you recognize that we do have within Rockwell the scientific and administrative talent to be able to accomplish the task that presently appears in the eyes of the press to be an impossible one. I ask your continued support, your continued effort, continue to work closely with those of us at Department of Energy, as we're all in the same boat. We're all working together. Let me say something that is, I think, at the crux of all of this. The key to being able to have your neighbors begin to look at Rockwell and Rocky Flats is a productive venture necessary for the economy of this area, and more importantly, necessary for the National Defense Mission of the United States. To have them accept that and to not feel in any way there's any problem, we're going to have to restore credibility. The actions of this investigation have not helped. We're going to have to come out of this and restore the credibility to the people of Denver, the governor's office, and to all the people of Colorado, that we're going to operate this plant in a very safe and environmentally acceptable manner. The governor, the people of Colorado, your neighbors, deserve that. And basically what it boils down to is we do have a new day. We're not going to be able to operate plants in the DOE system such as Rocky Flats, maybe as we did 10 years ago or 5 years ago, or maybe even like we did last year. The American people expect us not to do anything to damage the environment or to in any way place the safety or the health of employees here or people living in the surrounding area in any jeopardy. We intend to see to it this facility is run in that way. We're not going to violate any laws. We're not going to take any shortcuts. We're not going to do anything that jeopardizes the safety and the health of the people here or who live in the surrounding area or the environment. And we're going to have to see to it that we no longer look at environmental and safety laws as burdens to us, but they've got to become the very watchword of our every action, every day. We've got to see to it that we're holding ourselves to the highest standards of performance. And I ask each of you, and I ask the DOE employees to do the same, to look at the job you're doing. Look at it in terms of safety and health and the environment, and be sure you're doing the best you know how to do. You're giving it everything you know how to do. If you're not, then reassess your level of performance, as this is a team effort. And if there's something standing in the way of your doing a better job in that regard, then let your supervisor know. We've got to know what's wrong, if anything, here at Rocky Flats, so we can correct it and we can reassure the people of Colorado that we know what we're doing and we're going to operate this plant in a professional manner. We need your help. We need your strength, as you are the people that are going to make this work or not. And let me simply close by saying this plant's future is in no small measure in your hands. The law, the regulations, the directions from the Department of Energy are clear. We are to obey the law, whether they apply to them or not, apply to us or not here at Rocky Flats. We're to see to it we carry out every environmental regulation and law, whether it applies to us technically or not. We're going to run this plant in the highest state-of-the-art possible. But you're the people who do that. You do your part, and we're going to lift our heads up high. We're going to turn the situation around, and we're going to be able to tell the press, the governor, the people of Colorado, and your neighbors that we know what we're doing. We're doing a good job. Thank you for your help.